Within the media products that I've created, I've used, developed and challenged the conventions of real media products in which I've analysed and researched in order to make my media products the best quality they can be. My posters mainly follow/use conventions of real media products used at this moment in time. I wanted to follow the conventions used, such as the image and typography, as I felt that this gave my products enough information to the audience without giving too much away, therefore being able to keep some enigma around the film's narrative. I've used both the characters and the location of my film on the main image of my poster. This is a generic convention used on many film posters such as Star Trek and the Blair Witch Project. However, it is also a genre-specific convention shown on such horror posters as Hidden in the Woods and Friday the 13th. The main part of the image is one of the antagonists within my film, Francis Vanes. I've used a close-up to follow the convention used on other film posters, such as Dead Silence. As well as using this convention, I've also used a genre-specific convention of hidden identity / the use of masks within my image. Other posters have used this convention, such as The Purge and Smiley. This may have been done in order to keep some enigma within the poster and not give too much away to the audience. As well as using the close-up, I blended in an image of the forest at the bottom. I've done this in order to show some location within the poster. This is a convention used within other posters such as Shutter Island and Die Hard. This has also been used as a genre-specific convention presented on Friday the 13th. The use of forest at night as a location can scare the audience due to the unknown. As well as the positioning of the image, I've used the genre convention of contrasting lighting, locally/high-key. This is presented on such movie posters as The Purge. I wanted to use the contrasting lighting in order to connote both the light and the dark within the trailer. The title, Into the Darkness, has been used in order to suggest the genre to the audience by the lexeme of darkness. The typography used for the title is in a white sans serif font. I also used a clipping mask in order to show the blood spatters across the word darkness. I wanted to use this sort of text as the sans serif can suggest a more modern approach to the film. This convention has been used on such posters as Insidious. However, many slasher horrors conventionally use serif font, such as The Nightmare on Elm Street and Friday the 13th. However, I used the clipping mask to show off the blood in order to show the genre in a different way. I wanted to use the blood within the typography to suggest danger and death more explicitly than a decaying typography. The tagline on my poster has been presented at the top, a convention used on many film posters such as Halloween and The Conjuring 2. My tagline, Don't Make a Sound, has been used conventionally in order to create enigma and tension within the audience. However, many horror posters use True Story as their tagline / USP in order to entice the audience. Along with the tagline, I decided to put some typical personnel at the top of my poster. This is a convention used by many film posters in order to entice the audience, especially fans of horror and slashers. This convention can be seen on posters like Shutter and The Conjuring. Finally, conventionally, I placed my building block at the bottom of the poster in a small white steel tongue font. This is presented on many film posters such as Don't Breathe, Friday the 13th and Shrooms. Along with this, I conventionally placed the logos of my distributors and the date of the release underneath the building block in order for certain dedicated slasher fans to be informed who was included in the production and distribution of my trailer/film. My magazine is a lot more unconventional than my poster, including the image and cover lines I've used within my magazine. I wanted to do this to make my magazine look more modern and organised than many other genre-specific magazines. The main image on my front cover is again of my antagonist. However, this image is a medium long shot, going against the conventional medium close-up used on most film magazines, such as Total Film and Scream. Fangoria, a genre-specific horror magazine, also conventionally uses close-ups as their main images. I wanted to challenge conventions and use a medium long shot from the back of the antagonist, whilst he was holding a mask and a knife, in order to show more of the killer, however still keeping some enigma within the image, in which is conventionally used on horror magazines, such as props of the mask and the knife. Furthermore, I layered two images together in order to interlink my poster and magazine. The background image I have used of the forest, this has been used in order to show the location of my film. However, this is unconventional within magazine images, as most magazines go for a more minimalistic look. I wanted to do this in order to show both of my antagonists and the location within my magazine, as this can easily connect the trailer and poster, as well as suggesting to the audience that it's located in the forest. The main cover line on my magazine is the title of the film, as well as exclusive talks on how it is to work with Sam Calantis. Many magazines conventionally use language such as exclusive due to it being a buzzword and enticing the reader. This is seen on such magazines as Fangoria. I've placed the cover line at the bottom of the magazine. This is conventional as many place their cover lines near the bottom of the front cover. I also use the typography of the actual film for the front cover. This challenges conventions as many magazines only use their house style on their front cover, such as Sight and Sound. The masthead for my magazine is Scare System. I have used this as it is genre specific and can easily be connected to genre of horror. I used inspiration from such magazines as Fangoria, as their masthead can also be connected to the horror word Fang. I have used a sans serif font for my masthead to make the front cover look much more organised and much more modern. I'm developing conventions of genre-specific horror magazines such as Scream, as they mainly use sans serif fonts on their front cover. As well as this, they have blood dripping from their masthead, whereas I wanted to make mine look more organised and therefore used a clipping mask to show blood inside the writing. The selling line I have used, top 10 scary movies every month, is very conventional within the magazine industry, as they are used to intrigue the reader and make them more excited to read the magazine. I have made my selling line much more genre specific, as I mentioned that they would be scary movies. The convention can be seen on magazines such as Fangoria and Empire. My cover lines are conventionally placed at the side of my main image, within dead space, shown on many film magazines as Empire and Best Movie. I've placed them in organised boxes for each cover line. This is developing conventions for genre-specific horror magazines as Fangoria and Scream. Both use a film strip for their cover lines, which take up quite a lot of space on the front cover. I wanted to develop this and the way they were presented in order to target the same audience, 18 to 30, in which my film would target, as it gives a more modern look to my magazine. The narrative on my trailer has developed conventions, as many trailers use Todorow's narrative theory of equilibrium, disruption, recognition, attempt to repair, and new equilibrium. However, many trailers conventionally miss out the new equilibrium stage. This conventionally has been shown in such trailers as The Town That Dreaded Sundown. I developed the theory/narrative by starting my trailer with a disequilibrium and continuing on to equilibrium, disruption, recognition, and attempt to repair.
It is the morning of November the 3rd, 2014. The city of Leicester is awoken to a gruesome act of...
Stop it, I don't want to. Stop, I don't want to.
I did this in order to present the trailer in a linear way, as the disequilibrium would have actually been 4 years before the rest of the trailer. This has been shown in such trailers as Evil Dead. Representations I've used within my trailer mainly follow conventions. I've used the final girl theory within my trailer, as conventionally the final girl would be brunette and mainly smarter than the other characters within the trailer. This is shown in Cabin in the Woods. The final girl has been used in my trailer as a one teenager who eventually gets away. However, the audience wouldn't yet know this.
Stop it, I don't want to. Stop, I don't want to.
I've also conventionally followed the stereotypes used for the teenage group. Convention stereotypes are that they would run wild and don't follow the rules. I've shown this when they go into the woods/forest, even when the girl says, "Isn't this where that girl died?" as a voiceover. Isn't this where that girl died? Therefore, they know that she has died there. And many slasher trailers follow this convention, such as Friday the 13th. Shot tops I have used throughout my trailer are shown to follow conventions used by both the subgenre and the whole genre of horror. I've used a lot of close-ups and mouse/screaming within my trailer. This is a convention I have followed from many slasher horrors such as Friday the 13th, Evil Dead, and The Town That Dreaded Sundown. I have also used many point-of-view shots from the killer, which is very conventional within slasher horror trailers, shown in Lake Budham and The Town That Dreaded Sundown. I've also used both canted angles and high angles within my trailer. This is a convention used in many film trailers due to the connotations of the shots, which would make many of my protagonists look inferior to my antagonists. The angles have been used in such trailers as Friday the 13th, The Town That Dreaded Sundown, and Happy Death Day. I've also used a lot of handheld shots which have been used conventionally on lots of horror trailers, mainly shown on the Blair Witch Project. I've used the handheld shots in order to make the trailer more realistic and seem as though it has been filmed from the teenager's point of view. Mise-en-scène within my trailer has been shown conventionally for a horror slasher trailer, such as the props of Knife and the Mask, as well as the low-key lighting I used. The props of the Knife and the Mask are conventionally shown on such horror slashers as Friday the 13th and Happy Death Day. The props need to be shown as they can easily be seen by the audience and suggest the genre of slasher horror. I've conventionally used low-key lighting in order to make the atmosphere of my trailer darker and more tense, and also suggesting a more darker and evil side to the trailer. This has been shown conventionally on Evil Dead, Saw, and Texas Chainsaw Massacre. As well as this, I further use the conventional costumes for my stereotypical characters. Conventionally, a stereotypical serial killer within a slasher wears the prop of a mask and dark clothes that look scraggy and old. This has been used in such trailers as Friday the 13th, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and The Wrong Turn 4. The sound I have used from my trailer is very conventional, following many film trailers by using such sound effects as stings and crescendos.
Gruesome act of violence. Gruesome act of violence. A gruesome act of violence.
In order to create more tension and atmosphere, I have used multiple stings within my trailer in order for certain parts of it to stand out more to the audience, as well as building up tension along the pace of the trailer. I also used crescendos and built up the way the sounds were made in order to be built up with the tension.
Stop, I don't want to!
As well as fading the sounds out. These conventions can be seen in such trailers as Friday the 13th and Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I've edited my trailer very conventionally, starting off my trailer slowly at a reasonable pace. However, as the trailer went on, I decided to speed it up. This is a convention used in many trailers such as Friday the 13th in order to create attention and in order to entice the reader. Furthermore, within the pace, I decided to add in also used the montages are used in order to make the audience a little more disturbed and unaware as to what is going on, and therefore enticing them even more.